Hello everyone and welcome. This is Neil Fellows from Total Wellness Club, and I'm thrilled to have you joining me today on this complimentary webinar where we're looking at the top 7 trends happening in health and well-being. We've had over 250 well-being professionals register for this event, and I'm thrilled to have this opportunity to be speaking with you all this morning. I want to acknowledge you all for being here first and foremost, because I believe that top trends are vitally important because it's something that we should all really be keeping an eye on, because change is happening quicker than ever before. Changes that we see in a matter of weeks today used to take years. As well as technology changes, what your clients, customers and members want is changing too. And that means adapting so that you remain at the cutting edge and then you don't get left behind. And staying at that cutting edge is what makes you more marketable. And what you can then offer to your customers obviously makes it easier for them to come and find you. So today what we're going to be doing is we're going to answer the questions that you have about trends happening across well-being in fitness, health and in general well-being. And we'll also look at how you can use that to bring you more clients, more customers and more members. So if you're interested in that, then you are definitely in the right place. This webinar is for you if you're a personal trainer, a gym owner, nutritionist, coach or a therapist. And it's for you if you supply products or services or supplements to the industry as well. And it doesn't matter if you've been running your business for a while or if you're brand new. Everything that we say here today will be really valuable to you. Specifically, what we're going to be talking about today, we're going to be looking at the top 7 trends happening in health, fitness and well-being. And I'm going to explain what they are and how they're happening. And most importantly, we're going to explore what you can do about them so that your business can stay at the cutting edge. And because of time limits today, I want to promise you that I'll give you as much as I can in the time that we've got. And I know that some of you will want to get into immediate action when you hear what I've got to say. And so that you can do that, I'll pause at just a couple of places for a moment and just direct you to some helpful resources along the way. So I hope it's okay with everyone that I do that. I also want you to stick with me right till the end of this webcast today, so that you can hear about all of the wonderful prizes that are accompanying this event. We've got 11 event partners today. They're giving away 22 prizes and the total prize draw is over £8,500. So as we go through this webcast, I'd invite you to also share your thoughts and your breakthroughs with us today as well. And you can do that on our Total Wellness Club wellness providers page on Facebook. So if you should have had an invitation to join the group yesterday, or if you joined late yesterday, maybe you didn't get that. So if you go onto Facebook and look at Total Wellness Club wellness providers, and you'll be able to join that group. Joe, my wife and business partner, will be monitoring the Facebook page this morning and will be able to add you to that group if you send her a request. And also, before we close today, if you post your thoughts and your breakthroughs and tell us which trends are going to have the biggest impact on you, from those postings, one lucky winner, one that's made the biggest impression on Joe, will win one of our downloadable programs valued at £197. So post your ideas, your breakthroughs and your thoughts as we go along today. Now, I appreciate that many of you are probably hearing me for the first time, so let me just give you a very quick introduction. I'm Neil Fellows from Total Wellness Club, and I've worked in personal development, mind, body and spirit and wellness since about 2002. And I've had an interest in all of those areas since I was a teenager, so about 30 years now. And for most of my career, I've been involved in sales and marketing, customer service kind of side of the businesses. And I've also, in the last 10 years, mentored over 200 startups and worked behind the scenes for multiple six-figure and multi-million-pound businesses. Personally, I was once over 20 stone in weight as well and suffered from allergies and intolerances and joint pains. I've also fallen 14 feet head first and broken several bones and suffered concussion. And after healing all of this and getting into the best shape of my adult life, it's really taught me a lot about myself and a lot about the human body and what it's capable of. And as a result of all of those experiences, today I envision a world where good health is a natural state of being, and I'm a defender of natural health. And within this webinar, what I'm most interested in is not just the trends, but how it's going to be applied to you, to your organization, so that you can help more customers find natural health in ways that are more aligned to their wants and desires. So that's what we're going to zero in on today, as we're looking at these trends. So let's get started with the first trend. The first trend that I want to talk about today is what comes from the consequence that comes from the proliferation of information. So let's just roll back the years here. Let's just go back into the 20th century, where well-being was really very much limited to what the doctor told you. And outside of that, the options were pretty much limited to maybe a gym instructor or what a book publisher deemed was going to be marketable and would allow to go on the shelf. And going back into the 80s and the 90s, there were real limits, and obviously beyond the 80s as well, there were real limits to what we could know, and therefore to what we could really understand and therefore apply. And for those of you who can remember back into the 70s, you may remember that there were a lot of adverts that perhaps weren't the most honestly advertised, and those ads still have an impact on the minds of people who saw them and believe what they were being told, because they had limits on what they could investigate, so therefore what they could know. With their best love in the world, these people then passed on that misinformation to the next generation, so it still has an impact today. And while the 20th century was really about limitations, the 21st century is turning out to be very, very different. Now it's all about information. Now, when it comes to your health, we're no longer restricted to a doctor's advice, to the local gym or the publisher, what they deem marketable. Today, we can find pretty much anything we want to find, wherever we are. So we can get a massage therapist in literally every town, most villages probably as well. We can get educated about our well-being by those people's knowledge. We can go to a gym. We can hire a personal trainer who's got more knowledge available to them than ever before. And we can also buy an at-home workout DVD, or we can join in with a workout that's on YouTube, or we can even have one that's being live streamed from a studio right now. So you can Skype with a nutritionist, you can buy online programs, you can join Facebook groups, you can download free ebooks, you can buy literally any book that you want to buy from Amazon, or you can get a plethora of magazines, or just Google anything, whatever really is on your mind. And there's a whole new generation now growing up totally used to getting everything on demand, and a huge percentage of all of that just being for free. So we really are living in a time of abundance. In my youth, we were limited to a few big movies each year, the top 40 hit parade, 4 TV channels, a few radio stations, newspapers and magazines. But let's just contrast that for a moment. About a year ago, in 2016, about 40 movies were released in just 1 month. And instead of going to a cinema, we can now live stream those through TalkTalk TV and Netflix and Amazon. Instead of just a few TV channels, Freeview has now got over 70 channels. Sky have got 694 TV and radio channels from which you can pick your own bundle. And as well as newspapers and magazines, we can all publish a blog, we can all make videos, and we can live stream through Zoom or Facebook or Google Hangouts, as I'm doing right now. So today, 1.3 billion people have a YouTube account, and almost 5 billion videos are watched every single day. And in an average month, 8 out of 10 18 to 49-year-olds watch YouTube. And whereas 20 years ago, we had to sit at home on a PC or watch TV, today connectivity is unlimited and it's unfiltered. And things today pretty much catch up, and they're downloadable, and you can stream it straight to your phone or your tablet, literally wherever you are. So you don't even need to go out of your home. And you can get your hands on pretty much anything from mainstream to underground, from amateur content to commercial, and ideas and opinions and recommendations like music are shared really freely. And it's easy to live stream content to an audience of 1 million, just as easy it is to live stream it to an audience of 1. So the cost barriers are removed and are reduced. And information's hitting people really in unstoppable waves every day. 350 million images are loaded up to Facebook, and 80 million are added to Instagram. 300 hours of video are uploaded to YouTube every minute. 6,000 tweets are added per second on Twitter, and 2.4 million emails are sent every single second. So what does this mean for you as a wellbeing professional? Well, what it means is literally people's health is in the palm of their hands, because they've got so much information that's available to them. And what this means is that what people are willing to pay for is something that is continuing to shift. And anyone unable to shift with that shift is actually going to be left behind. So where is this leading us to? Well, the consequence of this proliferation of information has led to an abundance. And from that abundance, a customer has a new problem. And that problem is that abundance of information has just simply led them to overload. And from within that problem, a new group of questions has begun to emerge. And that is like, what do I really want? And where shall I really give my attention? So we've literally got everything we want. So as with Maslow's hierarchy of needs, we can start to ask more evolved questions. And what that leads us to is a new solution. And that solution is customization. And that customization leads us very nicely into the second trend, the trend of uniqueness, that I'm calling the unique to me trend. So let's explore the unique to me trend. Last year, I mentioned that we were moving away from demographics as a predictor of behavior. In many scenarios, age and gender, for example, are no longer a predictor of behavior. And behavior is changing from predicted molds towards a construction of individual identity and uniqueness. And what this means is that demographically, people are becoming less materially focused, and they're more likely to be defined by what they own and more likely to be defined by who they are and what they're doing. And personally, I think that Facebook and all of the social media channels have fueled this growth as we share what we're up to through pictures and videos and short messages. So what we're seeing is a trend of people moving towards inspired experiences. They don't just want to go on a holiday, they want to go on a holiday that really captures their enthusiasm and their excitement and their passion, and have experiences maybe like a sports holiday or an extreme sports holiday. And some gyms are now even tailoring special classes to meet this kind of desire too. And there are, of course, retreats and silent retreats, meditation retreats, yoga, nature and spiritual tours. And although these have been around for a number of years, the quality and the options that are available to people today are continuing to grow. The hotel and leisure companies are actually starting to latch on to this trend as well. So in January 2017, Westlin Hotels and Resorts began a multi-million-dollar campaign called Let's Rise. And the idea behind that campaign was to encourage travelers to really be mindful of their well-being while they're on the move. And the campaign asked the question, will you get up or will you rise? And it highlighted the importance of well-being for hotel guests during the disruption and the unpredictability of their travel. It also demonstrated Westlin's signature programs, such as the Heavenly Bed and Gear Lending workout that they developed with New Balance, which was designed to embody their brand's 6 pillars of well-being, which were sleep well, eat well, move well, feel well, work well, and play well. And within this trend as well, Ministry of Sound are also capitalising on this unique to me trend. They've opened a new gym with the same sound system as they have in their nightclub. And the idea that they're promoting is all about balance and not just slaving away in the gym with a carrot at the end of the finishing line. They want their customers to come in and they want them to sweat their asses off, have fun, and then celebrate a really good workout at the bar where the party can continue. See, for them, it's all about experience. And we'll talk more about experience and the importance of experience throughout this webinar, because creating this kind of experience for them, they're creating this social experience and then they're having people leave on a high. So they're really connecting themselves to that brand. There's also Clubbercise, which are one of our event partners today, who have taken the club experience of tunes and dark lights and glow armbands and choreography into fitness. And they began in 2014, and in the last 3 years, they have grown to the point where they now have 80,000 people each week keeping fit through their Clubbercise classes. In contrast to the high energy of Ministry of Sound and Clubbercise, but sticking with unique classes, David Lloyd have recently considered bringing in napper-size classes, which are just like napping classes, 45-minute sleep opportunities for people. So they've been bringing in these quite unique classes. I mean, all this being said, I mean, just an ordinary gym membership is still enough for 1 in 7 people. Gym memberships are in fact at an all-time high, with about 9.7 million people owning a gym membership. So that puts a value of about 4.7 billion on this part of the industry. If you combine the Wesleyan approach and consider the gym figures, it stands to reason that when people travel, they'll also likely want to keep themselves in some kind of fitness shape, because a good level of fitness is actually something that's actually pretty hard won, and you don't want to let go of easily. I'm definitely speaking from personal experience here, having once been 20 stone and now in really good shape. In a 2016 survey run by MMGY showed that 50% of the millennials were inclined to book a hotel that had a gym. And American Express did a similar survey, and it showed that 49% of millennials would actually be more inclined to book a hotel that had a gym as well. So what this trend is showing is that there's this move towards who am I and what am I doing, individual uniqueness, the things that we really want to have and the things that we really want to focus on. And this is the new problem that has come about as a result of having so much information. People are really getting clear on, what do I really want? Who am I? What's unique to me? And how do I better understand myself? And this, how do I better understand myself, is what's really fueling this micro niches that are growing up. Talking about earlier on, with people getting more inclined to think about those experiences that they really want to have. And if you heard my interview that I did last year with the business development manager from DNA Fit are part of this revolution where we're realizing that our health and fitness isn't just about what we do to our body carte blanche. There isn't a one size fits all really anymore. We're starting to realize that, because what we're starting to understand is that what could be healthy for one person could really be very ineffective for another, or it actually could even be harmful. So I don't know about you, but I certainly am interested in my genetics, and I suspect that for many of you, you're also interested in what your genes could tell you about you as well. So if that's true, then it stands to reason that looking at this trend of what's unique to me, that your clients, your customers and your members may have that same level of curiosity. And if that's true, maybe as a nutritionist or a personal trainer, what DNA Fit offer or other DNA companies offer could actually be of real help to your client or customer, because it can really help them define what's unique to them. And that can help you stand out, because you've got something that's really unique, because there's nothing more unique really than your own DNA. So that kind of thing really helps people to understand where they're at. So if you're interested in knowing more about DNA and how you can incorporate it into your business, I'll give you a phone number in just a second. If you call DNA Fit, just mention Total Wellness Club so that they know that we've been talking about them and what we've been saying. But if you give them a call on 0845 4634 653, that's 0845 4634 653, and you can explore that option and maybe look at how you bring that into your business and create something that's a bit more unique for you. What you can see is that we're moving away from mass market into micro niches or niche nation, so where we're more defined by our personal interests and our uniqueness. So this is the second trend that I wanted to talk about this morning, which is the unique to me trend. So trend one is about the proliferation of information, which led people into sensory overload, which then makes people ask, well, what do I really want? And then that leads people into this unique to me trend. So think about what you can offer your clients that's unique to them. How do you really personalize your service and make it really tailor-made to them? And what does personalization really mean to your audience? And what I'd love you to do is think about these first two trends. And if you've had an insight or a breakthrough or an idea, I'd love you to share it on our Facebook group. So that's the Total Wellness Club Wellness Providers group. You should have all been added to that group yesterday, or had an invite to be added to it yesterday. If you joined late, or you haven't got that, if you just go on to Facebook and do a little search for Total Wellness Club Wellness Providers, you can ask to be added to the group. Joe's, my wife, is paying attention to Facebook this morning and will immediately add you to the group so that you can leave your comments on there as we go through this morning. And remember that your post could win you one of our downloadable programs valued at £197. So if you want to take part in that, please go ahead and do that and tell us the insights and breakthroughs and the things that you're learning from this morning. So let's move on. Let's talk about the third trend. So the third trend we want to talk about this morning is the public healthcare bypass. So the wearable app market is expected to explode. In 2016, 2.5 million wearables were shipped, and by 2021, we're expecting around 97.6 million to be shipped. That's going to take the annual industry income to around about 59 billion dollars. And with wearables and apps on the increase, more wellness information is becoming available and accessible. More apps are being developed to combine fitness and healthcare. And the whole subject of wellness is set to grow, as you'll see in this trend and the following trend. Because while health really is about a state of disease and disorder, wellness is really about how good you feel physically and how good you feel mentally. And as more apps are developed, everything is going to start communicating with you. So when you open your fridge, it will talk to your iPad and it'll tell you how much meat or veg you've just taken out. And it could even tell you if you're eating too much fiber. And not only will it send that information to you, it could also send that information to your nutritionist or to your doctor as well. A diabetic would be able to press their thumb against a blood tester in the morning on their fridge door and be told their blood sugar level. And then they can be told the best food sources for them that day to keep their levels in balance. And I'm just skimming the surface here of what's coming and what's available now. But be aware that this trend totally changes the delivery of most health and well-being care. If you think about this, for as long as we can all remember, our health services have had too much pressure put on them. The governments talk about it in the past, where they're struggling with the resources. People go on to long waiting lists and have these hellishly long waiting times. And we know our present healthcare system is focused solely really on caring for the sick. So you only enter this system when you're ill. And the system has pretty much been overburdened since we can remember. And almost every election, since I can remember, someone has promised to reform or overhaul it, which, if it has happened, hasn't really made any noticeable impact to the patient. And as a result, people have started really to question the relevance and the sustainability of this system in their own mind. And they also began thinking that they didn't really want to ever go and join that waiting list. So the new problem that people have really is how can I care for my health now, and how can I avoid that waiting list? And although people may not have done a great deal with that thought, and they've gone about that their life, the seed was there to grow, and it's grown in the back of their mind. Then if you think about the first trend that we talked about first thing this morning, where information and technology has exploded, and it's then informing people that they don't need to be on that waiting list. And rather than being sick or ill, they've started to look for alternatives, and then people have started to share their alternatives with their friends and their family as they find them. So the population slowly but very, very surely is in fact actually moving away from cure to prevention. So the new solution is actually prevention, not cure. And given the trend of proliferation of information, people now know that they've got options. They can Google them. They can know that a weekly massage or a spa feels good. They can go for a walk in the woods or take a trip to the gym. They can leave feeling better or more invigorated or stronger. So creating well-being actually feels good, and people like to feel good, and then they begin to reach for that good feeling a little bit more each day and more often as time passes. And people who get on this trend will want to maintain feeling good because it feels good, especially when they start to envision the opposite, which would be the NHS waiting list, being prodded or poked, having scans and prods and probes, and maybe even being cut open and then having months of recovery. And I think that when you compare the two options, you can see that anyone in their right mind would choose to maintain their health through wellbeing products or services, or through a routine, rather than through medicine or medical intervention. So the solution is that people are really finding prevention, not cure. They're using wearables and apps, and they can start to track their steps, knowing that, in terms of their steps, 10k a day keeps a heart attack at bay. They can also look at their heart rate without going to see a doctor. They can download a nutritious meal plan from a number of experts and websites. They can add up their calories on an app. They can also find devices that generate stem cell growth and reverse osteoporosis. They can hire weight loss experts or go on a boot camp, and they can know about meditation or removing mental pollution and creating relaxation. Public health specialist and Oxford University professor Samuel Gray recently said that the NHS should shift 100 million out of its NHS drug budget into an activity budget, and putting 100 million of additional funding into prevention. He said that the activity agenda has been neglected for more than 40 years, and that preventative healthcare measures were essential, really, and are going to be essential in saving the NHS. So from the proliferation of information through into this second trend unique to me, we've got this healthcare bypass where the population is starting to look for ideas and open up to prevention rather than cure. And I think that one insight, I think that it's something that probably will excite every professional listening to this webcast right now, because this trend has a lot of room for growth as wearables explode and knowledge and information is exchanged. And I think what this trend does is it drives people from cure to prevention, and it drives people from the NHS, and it drives people right down the path to your door, and it drives them to find help that helps them feel good. So are you ready for them? Are you going to attract those people? How are you going to attract them? How are you going to help them? We'll be talking about 3 marketing trends in just a few minutes, which will help you use the information that we've been talking about here to connect with your audience. But just before we do, I just want to cover a 4th market-based trend. And this is the trend that I'm calling worthwhile workplace wellness. Difficult getting your tongue around that one. But for a long time, employers have known that a sick employee is a drain on resources. And for a number of decades, corporations have spoken about employee well-being, and a lot of businesses have focused on how they get their people back to work once they've been signed off sick. So a lot like our healthcare system, you only really became part of this work-based health system when you entered it through illness. And for many employers, they've used workplace wellness type of schemes to poke people back to work with a sharp stick. And I can talk about this one from experience, because a number of years ago, I was working for a company, and I had a back injury. And I saw one of these workplace wellness people, and the way that they spoke to me was like, can you stand? Great. Okay, so can you walk a little bit? Yeah, okay, great. So let's get you back to work. Let's get you back in, 3 hours a week next week, and let's get you back in full time the week after. And like individuals, corporations are recognizing that actually it's not all about dealing with causes, because it can be quite costly on resources when you look at it like that, but on prevention and a really honest effort, workplace wellness, and creating this environment that means people are not off sick or ill to begin with. So the new problem faced in the workplace is prevention. And this means thinking about the impacts of the workplace on an individual, and making other wellbeing resources available to the worker before illness or injury happens. So the new solution is having resources available that aid wellbeing. So let me give you an example of how we're seeing this start to play out. 3D Leisure have recently introduced what they call the Monday Mile. So this is an initiative that they've brought out where they're running this at 15 of their corporate wellbeing sites to help inactive employees go and get fit. So what they're doing is encouraging employees to complete a mile each Monday as a first step of becoming active. And they can do that in the gym, or they can do it in their own everyday life. And if they decide to do it in the gym, then they're getting free access to the gym and support from an instructor to complete that mile. Other initiatives to get employees active include 3D's Couch to 5K program, which is led by an instructor taking 2 sessions a week, initially just to start to get people to take a short walk and then working them up to a 5K run. So for those of you who work with workplace wellness, what initiative could you put forward, or what can you put forward to companies in your area that might help them improve their company wellness? So 3 of our trends are actually converging here. First, you've got that proliferation of information. Then you've got the individuals moving into prevention rather than cure through the broken healthcare system. And then third, you've got corporations following a similar mindset where prevention is preferred to cure. So you've got lots of information out there, people starting to think for themselves and take responsibility about their own health and well-being. And then you've got what's happening within big companies and corporations who are then starting to think about what's good for their staff and educate their staff about how they can keep well. So what I expect to happen is a natural balancing of the healthcare services, where people who can't help themselves or in need of emergency treatment will still need the healthcare service, but there'll be a gradual moving away from a dependency on the state to provide healthcare as people become more personally aware and responsible, and as employers look at what they can do to help their staff. Our Total Wellness Club are actually looking at what we can do to help more corporates, using some software that we're developing right now. And if you work with corporates or you want to work with corporates, I'd be interested to hear from you to explore partnership opportunities with you. So drop me an email at Neil, N-E-I-L, Neil at totalwellness.club. So we've looked at 4 trends: proliferation of information, the unique to me trend, and individuals moving into prevention rather than cure due to the broken healthcare system. And we've also looked at worthwhile workplace wellness. And I'd love to know what you think to these first 4 trends. Which has given you the biggest aha so far? What insights have you got from that? Have you got any breakthrough ideas, or you've just got a fresh perspective? And if you have, I'd love you to share that in our Facebook group this morning on the Total Wellness Club Wellness Providers group. So you all should have had an invite to join that group, but if you haven't, if you just do a search on Facebook for Total Wellness Club Wellness Providers and just make a request to join the group, Joe will accept that and you'll be able to post straight on there this morning. And if you post, you could win one of our downloadable programs valued at £197. So let's move on. Let's now talk about trend number 5. This is a trend that I'm calling attention retention. So 20 years ago, marketing was quite simple. Getting new customers, time and attention wasn't that hard. And once you had it, if they were willing to pay you, you were in business. To get a customer's time and attention, all you needed to do was use brochures, flyers, newspaper ads, and generate leads. But this all changed about 10 years ago as information began to proliferate and the economy changed. So you could still get people's time with an ad or a phone call, but you could no longer take people's attention for granted. So you needed to earn their attention before you could earn their trust and therefore their money. Now, 10 years ago, if you paid for media, you could probably get someone's attention, and having earned their attention, you could now earn their money. But by this time, we were becoming more familiar with websites and email marketing and email newsletters and Google. Today, as I mentioned, in the first trend, the proliferation of information, it's changed again. Attention can no longer be bought because people just don't have to watch ads anymore. We know what they are, and we've got so much other information contending for our bandwidth. And so therefore we're unlikely to give adverts much of our time. So now you need to really earn people's time, and if they haven't paid you attention, they won't pay you time, and if they're not paying you time, then they're not going to pay you money. So what this means is that we're moving from more from funnel marketing more into follow marketing now. So today the most successful companies understand the value of nurturing a community, building a list over time, and it's the difference between success and struggle. Nowadays we're using Facebook and Instagram and of course lots of other social media sites, and in the near future that will continue, but there may also be some other new social media platforms that don't even exist yet. So people using social media are already maxed out on time, and what you need to do is you need to earn their attention through valuable content and engagement. And as I mentioned earlier, experiences are actually becoming quite important here, and if you do this, your following will grow over time. So what you do is you invite your most avid followers into your community, where they can choose to invest more time with you, and whether that's in a private group, an event, or in a free program, and then they can earn their the time, and then the community will grow. And then you invite your most active community members to become your customers, and if what you offer then has been worthwhile, and it's been worth their attention and their time, they're more likely to trust you and then move into your higher levels of products and services, where they'll spend more money with you. So the problem here has been really differentiating between followers and community, and the fact that attention can't really be bought anymore. And being able to follow this trend and be able to differentiate between your followers and your community and your customers is the difference now between building a flowing motorway and actually just creating an empty country lane for yourself. So how can you build and nurture your following? So the sixth trend that I want to talk about today is the surprising consequence of the downward cost of content. As I explained earlier, content is now free, and people really are beginning to look for experiences. So the new problem now is that we can't sell our content. So 10 years ago, musicians would use their money, would make their money from selling songs and albums. And today, most music is listened to for free, and musicians make more from their concerts and their merchandise and their fan clubs. And they're happy to see their music played on YouTube or streamed for free, as they're no longer relying on their content for revenue. Instead, they're making more from experiences and festivals and concerts, and also they're looking more in the leisure and well-being area. Sporting events and adventure travel are also starting to really boom. So experiences are really these pre-designed memories, and memories multiply when they're shared. So the more powerful experiences are those shared experiences, and they come through games and through festivals and events, and through communities and movements. So people may come for your content initially, but they're going to actually stay for the connection. It's that connection that really keeps people with you. So a little bit like the previous trend we were just talking about. So this trend is going to continue to grow because the volume of free available media is going to continue to grow. And then you've also got things like augmented reality that's going to grow. And this is where virtual reality and real life blends within applications. And at the same time, you've got virtual reality, which is continuing to grow. Virtual reality is really all about this creation of virtual worlds that users can interact with. So the virtual world is really designed in a way that is difficult for a user to differentiate between what's real and what's not. So this type of reality is achieved by wearing sort of a VR helmet or goggles similar to the Oculus Rift. And companies like Next VR have already gone into deals with people like Fox Sports, NBC Sports, Live Nation, HBO, CNN, and they're set to live stream some of the biggest sporting events and concerts in virtual reality. Next VR are actually projecting that by the end of 2017, over 20 million people will be using virtual reality to view. And by the end of 2018, there will be 200 million users. I know you may well be thinking here, these are all big businesses, great, but how does all this relate to me? So a couple of questions that will help you to break this down. First, are you still trying to sell your content? And second, what would happen if you gave your content away for free instead? So what I mean here is that the programs that maybe you've previously been charging for, and then maybe not charging for those, but creating upgraded experiences. So let me give you an example of how one company has looked at this and how they've used it. This is a company that we work quite closely with. They made 1,000 sales on a recent promotion, and what they did then was they told every one of those 1,000 people that they could have a full refund if they completed their program in a set time. So the idea behind this is that for centuries the able and conscious few have supported the unable and unconscious masses. And the question this company had was, how can we move people to act and have people who act rewarded, and have the people who fail to act support those that do act? So those that do act can then go on and work with that company at a higher level. So that company could still make money, but they gave their content for free to the people who were inspired and who acted. So it's a reversal of thinking. I think it's pretty sort of brave thinking as well, and it's not for everybody. But I just kind of like the way that this company was thinking about that. So with Total Wellness Club, we've got 1,000 wellbeing practitioners registered with us already. We give away free content. We arrange events like this one. And then some people want to deepen their experience with us and work more closely with us. So that may be that they want to come and experience a strategy day with us, where we unpick their business and rebuild it, and maybe work out a 12-month plan for them. We also have like one-to-one mentoring, or maybe some people want to join our mentoring groups where there's more of a group experience, or maybe they just want to come on another event with us. So think about your business and what your business can do, what it can give away, what content it can give away, and then what upgraded experiences that you can create, which creates maybe community or a movement of some sort. The trend is that for content really is to move more towards zero cost, and for more businesses to move their income models to experience and engagement, and making them really easy for people to use, making them more exclusive, and more really about this higher level of expertise that you get from working more closely with somebody or in a group environment. So taking this trend towards free content and enhancing the experience, what will you focus on? So moving into the final trend that I want to cover today, here we're going to talk about the supportive sale. So this is the final trend. Just going to grab a quick drink here before I carry on. So what I like about this this final trend is really it's all about attraction marketing. So for those of you who are interested in attraction marketing, you're probably really going to enjoy this section. In my view, what I'm going to share with you is really the ultimate in attraction marketing. We're living in a time where global trust really is down the toilet. About 27% of people trust their banks. and about 15% trust their government. We've got mass migration, we've got massive inequality, vast changes happening through technology and automation, and a lot of polarization due to the anxiety that comes from people not really knowing what to do about everything that's happening, and not really trusting big organizations. People are therefore looking for trust and transparency. They want information that can really help them, especially when they're buying, and they want deep specifications, they want pricing, they want easy buying options and reviews. They want things that are going to answer their questions and not hold their energy or get in the way of a purchase. So what I mean by this is people want to be supported through the sales process and have their needs met. So they also want trust in the same way that they want access to everything these days. They want it instantly. They also want transparency, and they don't really want to pay any extra for it. So this trend is something that's been gathering steam for a number of years, and it's something that you're probably going to be more familiar with than you probably realize. And it comes about because of a willingness to share with others and learn from others in a sharing community kind of environment. And this trend of sharing is going to grow because it's really transparent and it's honest. So the problem that we've got in where we're living right now really is with transparency and with trust. And people are noticing this, and they're wanting more of this to be in their lives because of how banks and governments and things are really affecting them. So I wanted to listen really carefully to this trend because it's something that everyone can take action on today, and I'm going to show you exactly how you can do that before we finish. But if you miss out on this, you really will quite literally be stepping over money that's there for you to pick up. So one thing that I've seen over and over again from the coaching and mentoring that I've done over the last decade is how most people in the wellbeing industry don't really enjoy selling, but do enjoy getting a recommendation. When a recommendation happens, that person is already part sold on you. They know all about you, they know what you do, they've probably heard from their friend, or they've seen from their friend exactly what's happened. They can see the transformation, so they can see the change. So they probably even know what you charge as well. So to be honest, the selling is pretty much done for you. And that's the power of a recommendation. The problem with a recommendation, though, is that unfortunately, you've got to wait for that opportune moment where divine providence moves in your favor, and a client has that conversation with a friend, which inspires that friend to then come and speak to you. So the thing is that online, there's no need to wait for those divine circumstances to unfold. Online, there are millions of searches happening each month for all kinds of health, fitness and well-being problems and solutions. People are constantly searching for answers. So we don't need to wait for synchronicity to take place. What we have to do is just get your information in front of those people when they're searching, so that they can see your offer, and that it allows people to see that when they're ready to come and buy from you. So you're actually probably more familiar with this trend than you realize, because if you're online and you're searching for a book, or you're looking for a holiday, or you're trying to find a room to rent for the weekend, you're going to find that Amazon, TripAdvisor and Airbnb will be the websites that will come up. And these are all websites where people are talking about a product or a service that they've used, and they're sharing their views in a review format. And these reviews act like recommendations and referrals that are available 24/7. And the reason why reviews sprung up was because online people were unsure if they were actually going to get what they were being promised. If you go back into the early days of the internet, this was the main problem when people were looking online. So what reviews do is they break down that barrier of skepticism that a potential buyer or client has when they're choosing to buy a product or a service. So reviews, what they do is they build confidence and they develop trust and they provide social proof. So unlike a testimonial, people can actually see through the review because they're live streamed and they're unedited, they're raw, they're real, they're authentic, they're transparent, and people really get that. So while a personal recommendation is really lovely, now none of you need to wait for it to happen. You can people can go online and they can search online, and like I said, there are millions of people out there searching online every month for the answers. They just need to be able to find you. So we're used to Amazon, we're used to TripAdvisor, we're used to Airbnb and another website called House in other industries. And now in health, fitness and well-being, we've got Total Wellness Club. So what we do is, through reviews, we help to answer the questions that your potential customers and clients have, like, can I trust this person? Is what they're offering really any good? Are they any good? Will I get what I want? So we're providing you with a tool that helps you answer these questions so it can lead to more sales for you. So the trend I've seen over the years, working behind the scenes for several businesses and working with startups, is that people are actually, as they're buying online, they're moving towards a provider that's got reviews. So 27% of people now will not buy unless there is a review present. That means that almost a quarter of the, or more than a quarter of the people who are going to your website won't buy from you unless they can see a review. And that goes for other websites, other directory sites where you're being found as well. And you can't ignore that stat. Simply put, your potential customers are expecting to see reviews these days, and if they don't see them, they're not going to buy. So what you need to do, your solution, is to remove the barrier. So remove the barrier and support the sale. Give them what they're looking for, and that will help you to start attracting more business. So let me show you. I mean, literally everything I'm going to say here from here on is really about attraction marketing. This is about pulling people into you more easily in more numbers, rather than the old way of marketing, which was all about push, 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 and pushing your product and service on somebody else. So if you think about it, if you're searching online and you had a choice between someone with reviews and someone without reviews, who are you going to choose? And that is a very subtle difference that actually makes all of the difference. So one of our partners for this event is Click for Therapy, and they also operate a review service. So I'm going to be biased here. I'm not going to do you a disservice, and I'm not going to tell you, look, use Total Wellness Club. To be really honest with you here and say that if you're a therapist, you probably want to think about having more than one service where you can actually get reviews left, so that you can actually pick up referrals from other websites. So yes, use Total Wellness Club, but maybe also think about Click for Therapy as well. So what I recommend you do is that you create profiles on both Total Wellness Club and Click for Therapy, and then give your customers the option to review you where they choose to. So I'll give you an example of how you can do this. You could say after the third maybe massage session or something with you, that you automatically send them an email. And if you've got you know, a shopping cart or email provider, you can plug it straight into that on a set date. They're going to get this email, and it just happens. And within that email, it could say, you know, really appreciate working with you. Really helps people to understand the work that I do and understand it better when my customers leave reviews. So, you know, if you could leave a review on either Total Wellness Club or Click for Therapy, we'd really appreciate it. Now, asking for reviews really diligently in this kind of way, in a systematic way, after a set number of sessions, is going to have an effect on your business, because as reviews get left with us on Total Wellness Club, what happens is your page with us, because you have a profile with us, and then you, every time a review is left, it adds more content. And as more content is added, Google noticed this, so your page gets higher page authority. But then, because our site is fueled by multiple reviews, multiple articles, new profiles being created all the time, it's actually got quite a high authority just due to volume. And that means that you're going to come up higher in Google, especially as you get more and more reviews. So as you get more reviews, you're going to get more customers. As you get more customers, you get more reviews. You're just going to, it's going to proliferate for you. So get reviews on a regular basis on multiple sites, and eventually you're going to be the person that shows up in Google in your town, And then who are people going to go to from there? They're going to come to you. So this trend we're talking about here is how we support the sale, but in supporting that sale through creating something like a review system, we're actually then finding more people are coming to you. So I hope you can see how important this is. And remember, today people expect to see reviews. So if you fail to give them what they want, then they won't buy from you. You can also use reviews in your social media. So I'm moving on here to talk about how you can actually use this to expand your marketing in terms of attraction marketing. So using reviews that you get in your social media, just tweet out about a review. We tweet out about every review that's left with us, and obviously you can retweet that. So here you're using your existing customers, and then you're using them to influence new customers just by sharing that review on social media. And then if you've got your reviews live streamed into your website as well, it can also have that very same effect, because people can see the good work that you're doing and they can read those reviews at the point where they're considering buying from you and working with you. Now, I suggest to people that they also look at reviews for what people are saying, and think about how you can use those words to inform your marketing again. So it speaks to the people who are maybe going to be your potential customers. So again, it supports that sale. And obviously you can see, you can use this, and you can use it on your website, and you can use it in your email marketing as well as your social media posts. And in some cases, you can even use your reviews to inform product creation, because people are actually expressing what they like and what they don't like. So when a lot of businesses are looking also at adverts, they forget that, talking about this trust issue that I mentioned a moment ago, they forget that 50% of people actually don't even trust adverts to start with, yet more than 70% of people trust reviews. So when you understand this, you can use reviews and you can use them to attract customers, but also you can build it into a pay-per-click campaign. So it builds more trust in your advertising campaign and it increases your conversion. So just this one step will increase the conversion from your ads. But we're also, with Total Wellness Club, we've taken reviews a step further as well. So we're moving beyond creating trust through reviews. We've also looked at how we can help you use your reviews to gain more credibility and authority by using reviews to win you an award. So if you just imagine that on your website or at the next event that you speak at, the MC introduces you as an award winner. Now, if you imagine how different that sounds to just, announcing you as a therapist or a personal trainer or a gym owner or something, or a coach or something like that, they now add award winner in front of that. It gives you that instant credibility and authority. So here's how it works. When you get reviews with Total Wellness Club, we add up those reviews, and then when you get 10 reviews that are over 4.5 out of 5, we give you a bronze Health Hero Award badge. And then when you get 50 or more, we give you a silver award. And then when you get to 100, we give you a gold. So I encourage everyone on this this webcast today to use a review service. And if you're ready, go for an award as well. Get yourself started. Get this going as soon as you can. Let me just add a link on here. It's the one that's in blue, business.totalwellness.club. If you go to that URL, you'll be able to see what we offer, and you'll be able to get that up and running today. So if you don't have reviews, you're really getting in the way of the buyer buying from you. I'd love to see everybody involved today on this webcast set up your profiles with Total Wellness Club after this event and get started with reviews, and then use that to build community and use this as an advantage for you. Once you've registered, we'll send you some guides that will help you to get started and talk more about how you can win that award. Plus you'll also find other income earning opportunities as well as some special offers. So that link, in case you missed it, is on the screen here, business.totalwellness.club. So that's the 7 trends that I wanted to cover today. I'd love to know which one you would find the most useful, which one has really stood out for you. I'd love you to share that on our Facebook group. Love to hear about your insights and your breakthroughs, which trend stood out the most for you. So love you to share it on that group, which is Total Wellness Club Wellness Providers. And if you could do that now, and in the next couple of minutes, we're going to be picking one lucky winner who is going to win a prize that's valued at £197. So Joe's going to pick that out for me in just a minute. Before we do that, I just want to tell you a little bit more about our event partners today and the prizes that you could win. We have a prize draw today of £8,500. That prize draw has been brought together by 11 partners, all industry leaders, to create 22 prizes, and it creates this prize draw of £8,500 in value. So to win a prize, all you need to do is to complete the trends survey. And as you complete that, just indicate which prize draw sections you want to go into. The link to the prize draw and the survey has been in most of the emails that we've sent through to you. But I've just gone back onto our partners page here. If you look right at the bottom, you'll see that a link that you can go to there and take part in the survey. When you complete the survey, you need to add in your name and email address and phone number, and that's so that we can know who's won and notify you. Then you could select multiple prizes to be entered into. And what I'd suggest you do is look closely at the prizes and then decide which one is going to be most beneficial to you. For example, if you're in well-being but you want to get into fitness, let's say you're a nutritionist or a massage therapist or something, but you want to get into fitness, then maybe the YMCA training course would be a really good one for you to go for. But if you're already in fitness and you want a class qualification, then maybe look at Clubbercise. That might be a good one for you to go for. Also, probably worth noting that the draw literally breaks down into two halves, into fitness and into well-being. So you might just want to tick all the fitness options or tick all the well-being ones. So just a couple of thoughts that I wanted to give you there on that. So let's now, Joe just came and given me a name of someone to win a prize with us today. So a little bit of a drum roll for that. So let's do that. The person who has won our £197 download, and this download is our coaching program, which is called the No Selling Sales Formula. So what this does is it really helps you to go through the sales process in a very non-salesy, very conversational way. So that prize for a comment left on Facebook this morning is going to go to Nikki Marshall. So Nikki will be sending you a link to that program and use that. So congratulations. So finishing off finally here today, just with a little bit of coaching to finish off with. You've heard all of these trends. What I'd like to encourage you to do is to think about the information that you've just been given and think about what you're going to act on, because information not acted on is actually just information. It's what you do with it that makes all the difference. So I ask you to think about what you can do next now that you know what you now know. Also, just finish off here today as well, just want to say thank you to you all for being here, and I want to thank all of our wonderful partners for this event, and I look forward to letting you know who the other prize winners are in our £8,500 plus prize draw. And I also look forward to getting to know everyone who's new to us today over the next few months. So thank you for being here.